You can hear me?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Hello.
What's your name, or what would you like me to call you?
Oh, my name's Rachel.
Rachel? Nice to meet you, Rachel. I'm
Yeah.
Dryden.
Hi. I was just watching, I was just scrolling through TikTok. I'm actually on break at my job right now, but I have a little bit of time to talk. I was
Okay.
scrolling through TikTok and I saw one of your videos talking about, it was like, I think it was the latest one you posted of
Yeah.
the lady who was like, oh, I'd never heard of transgenderism or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like reading the comment thread of a guy that was like telling you were completely wrong and all this stuff. And I was just thinking like about all the people like me who have like been through it, who have not like even said anything or shared their story or anything. Like
Yeah.
that guy was not even thinking about like people like me who have actually been through this.
Yeah. Real quick, my chat is saying that they're all saying hi, and they sound that you sound really sweet.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that.
But yeah, if you have time, I'd love to hear your story about. You said you detransitioned.
Yeah, I am. And so, like, first of all, I know, like, I don't know if anyone in the chat would be like this, but I actually was I was on hormones for like a year.
Okay.
And I'm actually very lucky because I came away with it from it with like very little like
And I'm guessing you're on testosterone.
I was, yes.
Okay.
And I came away from that with I'm sorry, I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to say. I'm just pretty excited because I haven't like ever been able to share my story with anybody.
No, that's okay. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, so basically when you take hormones, there's things that happen to your body that you cannot reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I was very lucky in the sense that I came away from it with like very little of like irreversible effects. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
there's minimal change.
Yes, and I actually it's interesting because I recently like came back to God, and I actually credit God for saving my life.
Yeah.
And for just waking me up and making me realize that like that wasn't the life that I was supposed to lead. And basically like what happened to me was I had a lot of sexual trauma in my childhood. And, it started when I was 12. And I think that was really the turning point in my life that kind of made being a woman scary for me. Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. And like I was never really taught by my parents, like how to feel comfortable, like being a woman, like being, comfortable in my body and stuff like that. So it was just that I think coupled with like me kind of the company I was keeping, like the people that I was surrounding myself with. And then like very early on, like when I was like 16, I kind of started dabbling in like cross-dressing, right? I was like watching a lot of stuff online, like on YouTube, watching a lot of creators that were either like cross-dressers doing like cosplay stuff or just like female to male like transgender YouTubers. I was watching a lot of that at like the age of 16. So I feel like that really influenced me like from then on until I was about like, I don't know, 18, 19 was when I started hormones. And
were you able to do that without your parents' permission?
So I actually waited until I was like, I waited until I was like an adult, like legally an adult to do it. And like, so my parents, like I guess I was fortunate kind of in a way that my parents were not, they didn't turn me away. You know what I mean? Like I expressed to them, like, this is how this is what I think, like, this is how I want to live my life. And my parents never turned me away. They were supportive in a sense, but I could tell that they were like also weirded out by me wanting to transition. So it was like very like weird experience for me because like I kind of had supportive parents, but then they were also like, I could tell that they didn't agree
like hesitant a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think they wanted to enable me, to be honest. And like, I'm actually very lucky. Like my sister was the one who was like adamantly against it. Like she was from day one, like adamantly against it. And I'm very lucky for that because my sister is like a big reason why I actually detransitioned.
I'm wondering, you watched like these YouTubers. Did you also have a LGBTQ community of people that kind of led you on to thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. Yeah. And that was what, like, when I watched that video, I was like, yeah, it's true, because that is how it is in those circles, is like when you're like questioning your gender identity, right? Like, I don't want to say that they prey on you, like, because that sounds like awful. Like, you know, they're all going through the same. Well, the thing is they're all going through that as well. And they're just confused, right? And then they're also going through that where they're consuming that type of media and they're, you know, believing that stuff. So, I mean, in a way, like if they're older, yes, they kind of do. But like for me, like the people I was hanging out with were like around the same age as me. Like they were a bit younger.
Yeah, at least they were the similar age. Because what we've been seeing is with people who are going through puberty. Puberty is like this weird time where like your body is kind of becoming sexualized, like you're going through changes and you're uncomfortable during puberty. And so people are kind of, I mean, like I would use the word preying, but preying on middle school girls and middle school boys. Like it starts very young.
Absolutely. And see, I agree with that. And it's so funny because I'm very outspoken about, like, I'm against, you know, children taking hormones and like puberty blockers. And I'm so against that. But when I speak out against it, people like look at me and they're like, you have no room to talk. You're a cis woman. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm over here like with my secret, like, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's almost like they, you know, like they don't think that anyone can have an opinion on anything. Like, I don't know. That's kind of how it's been lately. But
I don't mean to pry too much. Did you have any surgeries like that you regret?
No, I didn't. So I'm quite lucky for that actually. Because, you know, like now that I'm like a lot older, I'm 25 now. So like now that I'm older, you know, and I'm like, you know, living my life as a woman, which is like amazing for me, you know, and I'm like so comfortable in my body now. And it just like, it shows that like you really just have to like mature. Like you just have to like grow up, you know, and then eventually those feelings, like they will go away. And I also think it's like a thing of like trauma too. Like for me, I think I got it wrong, you know, like for me, it was a trauma thing. And I think it's like that for a lot of people, like they just go through trauma and it just like forces you into this like identity crisis where you really don't know who you are.
Yeah. Like a coping mechanism and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like for me too, like another thing I just wanted to say was like, it was way too easy for me to get hormones, like way too easy. Yes. Way too easy. Like I only went for 3 consultations to a brand new therapist before she wrote me a letter to get hormones.
Wow.
3. Yeah. I was thinking, you know, like now that I think back on it, I'm like, wow, she probably should have like, you know, at least been talking to me for like a good 6 months to a year, you know, but it literally was just 3 consultations. And then I had my note.
There's a book I need to read on this, but I've been hearing that it's actually even easier nowadays and you don't need parents' permission when you're a minor.
No. So I think it's something called informed consent. I don't know. I don't know if that might be, because informed consent was like a thing that like was offered to me, where it's like, oh, you don't have to have like a note from the therapist, like to be able to get hormones, but only certain doctors offer that. So like some doctors, like if like I think it's endocrinologists, like some endocrinologists, when you go in, like they'll either offer informed consent or they'll tell you that they need a note from a therapist. The endocrinologist I went to required a note, but as far as like the minor thing, I was hearing about some sort of like bill or something that they were like trying to pass with the government. Could like
it's very recent.
You know what I'm talking about.
I made videos on it, but it was Dr. Rachel Levine, who's a man, is trying to set this bill up for the ability to let children be on puberty blockers so that they can block their puberty and then pick their sex later. And Rand Paul was bringing the facts, and he was saying, Senator Rand Paul was saying that 85 to 90% of children that have these questions about their sex and question, maybe I'm trans, maybe I'm not, 85 to 90% of them stick with their original sex. And it might be even higher. And it just takes that maturity of let them go through puberty, get them comfortable in their bodies, their new growing, mature bodies, and they will most likely stick with the same sex that they've already had.
And see, like, I totally agree with that. And that's why I'm like so against this like agenda, this agenda to like, you know, make kids think about their sexual identities, their gender identities at such an early age. Like I'm a prime example that like I literally thought that this was what I wanted for my life. Like I was so sure at the time. But like now that I'm, you know, 25, like I know that that was not what I wanted and that it was just feelings, you know, and they went away. Like eventually, you know, like I had been on hormones for like a year and I just woke up one day and had this revelation where it was like, no, like what am I doing to myself? I'm destroying myself. You know what I mean? I'm destroying like the body that God gave me. Like, you know,
testosterone for women is terrible.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
Like,
and like I remember my
increased like sex drive and hair growth and
so I was like very lucky that I like, because you know you can get male pattern baldness, you can get you know, like a mustache that never goes away, like enlarged clitoris, like all this stuff, right? And like it's irreversible. And like for me, like my voice was like, I used to be able to sing, right? And I loved singing, and like it completely destroyed my voice. Like I can't sing anymore. You know, and that's and I mean, like I guess it's a small price to pay for, you know, like being able to have, I'm still very feminine looking, you know what I mean? And like with my voice and stuff, I was able to train my voice to be able to like, you know, I can talk in a higher octave and stuff, like, but it's still, it's like it's like this dark secret that I have to carry with myself. And like I moved away, like I'm originally from Arizona, right? And I moved to New England. I moved completely across the country so that I could like start a new life for myself, because I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I completely destroyed like relationships and everything around me. And like I didn't know how to like go back to being a woman, right? Like I had all these friends and they had known me as this for so long, and it's like, how do I go back to, you know, like the old life that I used to have, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know, it's like this like heavy thing that I carry with me all the time. Like now it's just this thing. So it feels really freeing to like have a platform to tell my story on. So I just want to thank you for that.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, so in the Bible we read about Legion, who was filled with 10,000 demons, you know, like thousands of demons. And he says, once he's healed, he says to Jesus, "Can I follow you?" And Jesus says, "No, go back to your hometown and tell everyone what happened to you." And that really resonates with me, because I think about all the stuff that I've been through personally and that God has saved me from. And it's heavy stuff, burdensome, guilty, shameful things that now I have a testimony and I have to tell other people what I've been saved from.
Exactly.
And that's the similar thing for you. And I think yours is going to be huge for the kingdom of God, which is helping this, especially now more than ever. You have a great testimony.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I haven't like, the reason I haven't really like shared my testimony on TikTok or anything is just because I haven't really felt compelled to yet. But when I saw your videos, like something in me was like, no, this was placed there for a reason. Like, and then I saw you were live. Like at the moment that I saw your video, you were live, and I was like, no freaking way. So I went in the chat, you know what I mean? And I was like hoping that you would see my message, and then you did. And it was weird. It was almost like an aha moment. So like, I'm really thankful.
Oh yeah, I'm glad.
Like, that you gave me this platform. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I've been putting myself out there for a while now, and it's kind of weird, you know, like going against the current culture. But everyone in my chat is saying that you're awesome and you have an amazing testimony and you're epic, and they're glad that you
so much.
shared your story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Wait, so like, how do I get in this chat?
So this is on Twitch.
Oh, okay, that's why.
I think I'm going to be switching to YouTube very soon. But I'm still just trying to figure things out.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't really have a Twitch account, but like when you switch to, I followed you on TikTok. So like when you switch to YouTube, I'm sure like you'll promote it. So I'll be able to follow you on there. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I got to get back to work.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. It was great to meet you.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Yep. Bye. Have a great day.